thank you so much for the last 3 days. A stuttering problem, it's a nightmare. And the thing about nightmares, you can wake up if you want to. It's taken me more than 20 years to finally wake up from this nightmare that I thought would never end. I used to hide behind my stammer. I used to blame it for so many things that I feel I have not achieved in life thus far. But from this day onwards, there's no more excuses. So I feel like you've given me some superpowers, that's how the feeling is. It's like I had this anchor that was pulling me down and I could not move, and now it's removed. And not only can I swim, I can actually fly now. I feel light, I can do whatever I set my mind to. It's a feeling of liberation. I just feel it's something that's holding me back, and for a very long time I used to go and blame this for my reasons for being held back. How do I ensure that after I finish the program with you, Anna, and I learn to speak the right way, the Etalon way, I make sure that I stick with those habits and I don't fall back into the old ways.
It's very simple. Imagine you kept buying groceries from the same store for 20 years, but one day they closed it. So how are you going to get used to another store? It's just a matter of choice now. God has given you a free will. You can freely choose what you want to do at any present moment. Some confused individuals instilled in your mind that people have so-called habits that are impossible to get rid of for years. But in reality, some people like doing bad things criticized by the society, and they look for an excuse to justify their actions. That's why they have come up with this theory of the existence of so-called habits. But if you are used to doing something bad, you can also get used to doing something good. For example, you live for 20 years without smoking, and one day you take a cigarette and begin to smoke. And you do not need 20 years to break the habit of not smoking. You simply take the cigarette and begin smoking right away. It doesn't take us much time to get used to doing things we like to do. It happens instantly.
Yeah.
I always wonder why people do not understand that habits do not exist in reality. Why they don't see how quickly they substitute old things that they were getting used to for years with the new ones. And they do it in a second.
My name is Christian. I am 34 years old and I'm from Singapore. I'm currently studying in Switzerland, pursuing my MBA at IMD in Lausanne. So today is the third day of the class. I can see there have been a lot of improvement. If I were to go and draw the chart, it would be like this. It's been an exponential improvement in the way I speak. It's a lot easier. Of course, it's a lot more comfortable. After we finished the class yesterday, I spoke with my friend. I called him up and we had a conversation for about half an hour. After I spoke with him, I called up my girlfriend and I spoke to her for about half an hour as well. After this, I had the conference call with my professor and few of my groupmates. So my conversations, I think they went pretty well. The earliest impression I have of stuttering occurred when I was 11 years old. I remember faintly being asked to present something in the front of the class, and immediately the words just did not come out. I was stumbling. It was embarrassing. I could feel my face flushing, getting a bit red, and I just wanted to dig a hole and bury myself in. Every speaking engagement felt like a chore. It felt like something I had to do as fast as I could so that nobody would have the time to react, to laugh at me. So my confidence took a fall. I remember not having as much fun as I should be having in school. Whenever the teacher would ask someone to speak, I was just praying in my heart, please don't pick me, please don't pick me. Yeah, I used to hide, instead of volunteering, even if I knew the answer in my head, I would not put my hands up unless I was sure I could say the words without stumbling. So I would rehearse and rehearse the words in my head, and if I was 100% sure I would not stumble, I would put my hand up. But even then, when I put my hand up and when I was called, there was a high chance that I would stumble at some point. So as I got older, there were more speaking engagements. It was sort of like a compounding effect. Every time I stumbled, it became bigger and bigger and bigger. It was like trying to go up a mountain. Each time you take one step, you're sliding back 5. You take one step, you're sliding back. So it was very hard to be able to express myself. And I think at the age of 18 or 19, I did a bit more research online. I found so many articles, journal entries, speech therapists, and I found a book which said, you read this book and they give you ways and means to overcome the stutter. So I purchased that book. I thought I'll find a mystery cure to this mysterious illness. So I read the book. It explained a few things that I had to do. So there was the one thing which I still remember now. They talk about the Valsalva maneuver. I tried this maneuver a few times, but I knew it was not sustainable. It wasn't comfortable. They ask you to squeeze your muscles, and then when you speak, it will be easier. I had to make the conscious efforts to always squeeze and hope I would speak naturally. So it was only a matter of time where I stopped doing that. And then I tried doing some breathing exercises. I tried to practice it a few times. And it just made my whole body feel very uneasy. It didn't feel natural at all. So I went to search of how to speak without stammering. And then I saw one website, Live Stutter-Free. And I clicked on it. I saw so many testimonials from so many students. I watched some of the videos. You can see on day 1 and on day 3 the vast improvements. In fact, you even see the improvements at the end of day 1. So it piqued my curiosity, and I contacted you and I spoke to you and I felt comfortable, and I told myself, you know what, there's nothing to lose. I mean, if you don't try, you never know. I don't want to look back and regret and saying, oh, I found something but I was a bit unsure. I saw too many testimonials on the site for me to think that it could not work. If it could work for them, there's no reason why it could not work for me. So I told myself, you know what, let's just do it. My only regret is, I wish I found your website 10 years earlier. It's like you managed to break the speech algorithm into the formula. You gave me like a formula, this plus this plus this equals speech. And when you can break it down, you make it so easy to see how the different parts work together. And on the first day, I personally felt I was at 80% because my speech wasn't perfect yet, but it was definitely getting much better. On the second day, I told her that it was at 90%, and for today, I believe I'm at 100%. If I continue to be aware of accuracy and comfort and just disregard the whole notion of fluency, it's the right way to go. If you're accurate and you are comfortable, you will have pleasure in the conversation, and it's not something that you will dread but something that you actually enjoy. So to everyone else out there who has had a stammering problem, it's a nightmare. And the thing about nightmares, you can wake up if you want to. You just need to open your eyes, you need to try the program, and you put in the time and the effort to make sure you follow the norms. And when you understand how the norms work, it's taken me more than 20 years to finally wake up. from this nightmare that I thought would never end. You should give yourself a chance because you still have the rest of your life, and I believe being able to communicate freely and effortlessly is one of the most important things in life. In fact, it's one of the things that makes us human. So give yourself a chance. You definitely deserve it. Anna is a great teacher. She makes sure you understand exactly what she's teaching you. It's a very interactive and two-way communication. You don't just sit and absorb. You have to actively participate and give it your all. And then only will you see the results of the whole experience.